Hello, this is Mrs. Ross, and this is Module C, Unit 3, Lesson 3, Notes Part 2. We ended on habitat fragmentation, which is right here in your notes, right here, which is the division of an ecosystem into smaller areas by roads, housing communities, or other development. The division of an ecosystem into smaller areas by roads, housing communities, or other development. And then we have another quick check. Oh no. Okay, hold on a sec. There we go. It says a politician is trying to remove a dam on a local river. Some people oppose the removal, saying the dam removal will cost too much money. What is one argument the politician could use to get people to support the project in spite of costs? And it would be D, removing the dam will allow fish to reach their natural breeding grounds upstream of the dam site. Okay, we're looking for page 177, an example of non-native species. That's 176. Here we go. Example of non-native species. Non-native species may be by, okay, for example, gardeners introduced kudzu vines to the American Southeast. So kudzu vines would be an example of non-native species. It looks like that's the only example that they have. And then pollution sources include, let's see. Some pollution sources include the burning of fossil fuels, fertilizers, pesticides, medicines, and litter. So some pollution sources include burning of fossil fuels, fertilizers, pesticides, medicines, and litter. And that's going to be right here. Okay, let's keep on. We've got another quick check here. It says a biologist uses a computer simulation to study the effects of pollution on the plants and animals in an ocean ecosystem. Explain one benefit of using a computer simulation to study how pollution affects organisms in an ocean environment. So the simulation allows scientists to study events that are difficult to witness in the field. The simulation allows scientists to study events that are difficult, sometimes impossible, because we're not going to pollute something just so we can study it, to witness in the field. The field being the real world. Okay, and then explain one limitation of using a computer simulation to study how pollution affects organisms in an ecosystem. So the simulation may not be able to include every effect of pollution on plants and animals in an ecosystem. So may not include every, are we going to spell that even close to right? Every effect of pollution on the plants and animals in the ocean ecosystem. All right, so now we need to go to page 178. I think we're on 176. Is that 77? I'd love to see a page number. Let's see, where are we? I wish I could see a page number. 179, we went too far. Okay, so that's 179. Wait, okay, is this 178? Surely it is. Okay, example of ways we can reduce pollution. Let's see. Reducing habitat loss and pollution requires solutions that involve studies show blah. Studies cannot identify society self-decide on its actions. For example, individuals can help reduce pollution in many ways. We've found it, folks. You can bike instead of drive. There's one. You can buy environmentally safe products. There's two. You can recycle, reduce litter at home, or volunteer. That would be like 3 through 5. If you put, though, there's even more. There's how farmers can reduce waste and business can reduce waste. But if you'll give me, I'd say like 4 total here, that would be totally cool. Let me go through them again just so you know. So it says, for example, individuals can help reduce pollution in many ways. They can bike instead of drive, that's 1, and buy environmentally safe products, that's 2. They can recycle, 3, reduce litter at home, 4, or volunteer at environmental cleanups, 5. Okay. And then we have the case study at Shark Bay. Why is the shark population important? Let's see. Decreases in the shark population affect many of the ecosystem services provided by ocean communities. That's probably why the shark population is important. So I would say the shark population is important because decreases in the shark population affect many of the ecosystem services provided by ocean communities. And that's what you'll put here. Decreases in shark population may affect the ecosystem services provided by ocean communities. Okay. What is the greatest threat to shark populations? IDK, let's see. Fish also, okay. The greatest threat to shark populations in Shark Bay and around the world is overfishing. Overfishing. What are the Australian conservation groups doing to protect the sharks in Shark Bay? Australian conservation groups identify protecting sharks as a priority. Their efforts include encouraging tourism to Shark Bay. So encourage tourism, which earns more profits than shark fishing. They also set shark fishing limits. So shark fishing limits. And create no shark fishing zones. No shark fishing zones. Cool. All right, and then we have another quick check. It says we're designing technology to solve environmental problems. Environmental engineers must consider factors that limit the design. What are these factors called? They're called constraints. Right there. And then what is one proposed solution to help retain water in Sierra Nevada? Okay, so that's on 182. So let's fast forward. That's 78, 79, 80, 81. Why did I wait so long? 82. This must be it, the mountain meadow restoration. What is one proposed solution to help retain water? Helps them decide. Okay, recently water levels, blah, blah. Restoring. Okay. Okay. Restoring the degraded mountain meadow ecosystems in California's Sierra Nevada watersheds is one proposed solution to help retain water. So restoring the degraded mountain meadow ecosystems, and you'll have to write that out, in Sierra Nevada watersheds. Will help retain water because the water will slow down. All right, one barrier to the success of the mountain meadow restoration. Let's see. Ranchers living in mountain areas do not support the programs because they reduce the available grazing land. So it reduces available grazing land. Solutions to the spread of pine trees and meadows. Let's see. Many years, government prefer. Great. Where's pine trees? It's on the same page. It's supposed to be on the same page. I don't see any pine tree things. Oh, it's on the next page. My life. Here we go. This is page 183. Once restored, for example, pine trees in the meadow could spread. Pine trees crowd out. Solutions to the spread of pine trees, they increase. One option is to prescribed burns to remove trees. That is odd that they want to. Okay. Intensifiers. A second option is to bulldoze the pine trees. What? Dude, bring them here. Bulldoze pine trees. We'll take them. And then another option is to control pine tree growth. Control pine tree growth. Never knew pine trees could be so evil. One example of a trade-off. So that's going to be on page 184. There we go. Trade-offs. Trade-offs must be accepted in order. Okay, for example, a criterion restoring the mountain meadows is to keep costs low as possible. To meet this criterion, a lot of volunteer help is needed. Volunteers likely like the experience, so the project will run longer than expected. So the trade-off, an example, is using volunteers, which is cheaper, but will take longer. Okay. Okay, and then our last quick check, and then we'll talk about ecotourism. All right, some ecologists, where are we at? Some ecologists think that forest fires that do not threaten human lives or property should be left to burn instead of being extinguished because such burning can often be beneficial to forests. Other ecologists think that all forest fires should be extinguished because they might harm people and their property. How might ecologists gather evidence to support the theory that periodic fires benefit forest ecosystems? Okay, so here's what we're going to put. Observations should be made. That's not the end of it. After a fire, of the growth of organisms, sorry, I'm reading and talking to people. All of this should be done before drawing conclusions. So observations should be made after fire of the growth of the organisms, and we should be talking to people before we make conclusions. And then our last definition here, ecotourism. Let's see. Ecotourism tries to provide exciting natural experiences for travelers. Their goal is to preserve habitats and increase awareness. It is a challenge, however, to provide tours to wildlife areas without disrupting. Ecotourism companies maximize benefits to ecosystems by closely working with government, conservation groups, and citizens. So I would say that it provides exciting natural experiences for travelers. And that's it.